Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are going to be exploring, kind of, the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Palette Volume 2. And if you're like, oh, that's a bit old, that's not very exciting anymore, or you're like, I don't support Morphe, I don't want to have that. Well, actually what we're going to do is we're going to talk about alternative palettes instead. So if you don't want to buy the Jaclyn Hill one, but you really like the color story, we're going to talk through some alternatives, and I'm going to show you which shades match, and then you can think about which one, if you want to buy any of these, of course, might work best for you. So if that sounds interesting, please keep on watching. For those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Carolyn. I pretty much just I'm a makeup enthusiast. I do makeup reviews, sometimes not really tutorials. I'm not a makeup artist, so I don't know if you want to be learning things from me. But mostly this is just a fun little space to play with makeup on the internet. I do want to address, because I know this is going up in the midst of all of this, well, essentially the pandemic that's going on, and I've been watching some other videos and I've noticed that other YouTubers are saying similar things, and I did want to express that I'm not, what's the right way to say it? For me, this is my therapy, okay? I find filming and playing with makeup really relaxing and very therapeutic, and I imagine for many of you watching, you do as well, and you really enjoy it. So things are difficult right now. It's very likely that I'm going to have to work from home for the foreseeable future, and there's a lot of changes that I'm going to have to make in my life. But right now, I don't want to think about it, at least for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I want to have fun. I want to put my fingers in a whole bunch of fun colors and cover my arms in swatches and just have some time for myself. And I think those things are still important, even when there are really important other things happening in the world. So that's all I'm going to speak about it for now. Of course, if you guys want me to talk more, tell you more about what the situation here is in the UK, and share our stories about it, then I'm happy to do so. But for today, we're just gonna dive into the makeup and have some fun, okay? All right, so now let's actually get started with this. All right, so what did I do? In my first will I buy it kind of video, I actually anti-hauled the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe Volume 2 palette. If you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. It is enormous. Huge beast of a thing. I anti-hauled it because I thought that, one, I could dupe it with my collection, which I probably could, let's be honest here, but today is not about duping it with like 50 different singles. Well, 30 different singles. Is it 30? Whoa, I gotta count this. How many are in here? 35. Ooh, interesting. I gotta make a note. Okay, 35. Okay, so I don't want to have to take out 35 singles to show you what you could dupe with this, or take out a huge stack of palettes to say, oh, look at all the colors that I have that could be a dupe for this. So we're not doing that today. The first thing that came to my mind when I saw this palette advertised was actually this palette, the It's All Good palette by Colourpop. So recently Colourpop have started coming out with some larger scale palettes, and I hadn't picked any of them up because I'm just not that into the really big palettes right now, so I just was like, it's not for me. But when the Jaclyn Hill one came out, I'm like, oh, that one's pretty much a dupe, so whatever, it's not a big, if somebody wants it, they could just buy that one instead. And then I went to the store, I was in the Morphe store, where was I? Ooh, in Westfield and Stratford, they have a Morphe store there. And I saw it, and I was like, am I gonna buy it, am I not gonna buy it? And I decided to get it because I actually wanted to check, was I right? Is the It's All Good palette the same as the Jaclyn Hill Morphe 2 palette? Okay, so that was the inspiration for doing this video. And then one of my students told me that actually there's another palette that might be another good dupe for it, and it's much smaller and much cheaper, and that is the sleek, which one is this one? Chasing the Sun palette. So let me just show you the It's All Good palette really quickly. Take out the plastic there, okay? So this is what she looks like. And you can tell right away that there is a similar color story. We have this yellow, purple, brown moment in this one, which is the same as in the Jaclyn Hill, but there are more pinks in that one, and this one is a little bit not as intense. But if we then look at this one here, we have that same kind of story. We have the reds, purples, a little bit of pinks, the yellows, and the oranges. So it actually, and we're going to do some swatches now, and we're going to kind of go through these palettes together and talk a little bit. But this one, if you're interested in it, might actually be a reasonable alternative. This only costs 10 pounds, 10 US pounds. To be fair, you are only getting 12 shades, whereas with this one, which is, I think, 34 US dollars, and you have 30 shades in here. And then this one, in pounds, it was 39 pounds, and you get 35 shades. So if we think about it, if we had 36 shades with this one, it would be about 30 pounds as well. So anyway, maths and money aside, do you want a huge palette that has so many duplicates, or do you just want that color story? So that's kind of where I think we should be thinking about this a bit more. So what I've done is I made a long list. I went through all of them, okay, and I've actually kind of tried to match up the ones. So what should we start with? Should we start with the sleek palette, or should we start with the Colourpop one? Let's do the sleek one because I think it'll go pretty quick. You're probably going to hear Betty crying quite a bit during this video. We are fiendishly close for being dinner time, aren't we, buddy? What? We're under this table. What? What? Why? We're hungry. I know. He's down here. Obviously, I'm petting a cat. I'm not just like talking into air. I swear there's a cat down here. We'll feed you in a little bit. Okay. So actually, let's just have a look again at the actual Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. So one thing I want to note is that these top kind of 2 rows here of pale browns are virtually identical to each other in many ways. So there are subtle differences, but I do think a lot of these could have been taken out and you would have had the same color story in the whole palette. So there are some duplicates in there. Some of these purples and pinks. What I'll do is I will have some full swatches of all 3 palettes, but I might put those up on my Instagram so you guys can see them there, because it'll be a lot to swatch like 70 shadows in one video. Okay, so we're not going to do that. But a lot of these have some very similar tones, and I think I don't know if you guys watch oh gosh, what's the name? Lauren Mae Beauty? What's her name? Sorry, let me check this. So I don't know if you guys watch Lauren Mae Beauty, but actually a couple of days ago, she did like a, how do we edit down some of these Morphe palettes? I'll go ahead and put her, the link to her video down in the description box below. But there is kind of like a very specific color story in here, which is a brown, a purple, an orange, a red, a yellow, and then some sort of shimmer. Okay, and maybe some pinks in there. I am wearing it on my eyes right now. I think I've done the same look that every single other YouTuber has done. But those are kind of the most fun colors in this palette. The rest of them are a bit like, okay. So it really could have been edited down. So there isn't a necessity for 35 colors when about 1/3 of them are probably redundant shades. Okay, so that is something important to remember about this palette, is that there is a lot of redundancy. Okay, so let's just take a quick peek at the It's All Good palette. Similar issue with this one. Okay, it is a bit smaller. It's actually smaller than I thought it was going to be. Let me just hold it up with the other one just so you can see. Somehow when I saw the Colourpop ones online, I thought they were going to be like the same as the Morphe palette size, but they're definitely not. Okay. So in this one, there are again some redundant shades. There's lots of these kind of pale brown colors, kind of yellowy tones in there. Some of the shimmers are quite similar. These shimmers, some of them we've had in like every Colourpop palette that has a pinky kind of tone in it. There are some unique and interesting shades in this one, but again, if you break it down into its kind of base color story, we have a yellow, we have kind of an orangey color, we have a pink, we have kind of some red tones, we have a purple tone. So we're getting in the same kind of vibe with it, okay? So there is a lot of similarities between them in color story, but they are not identical. And then the Sleek palette is essentially just those colors, okay? I said essentially 3 times. It's a mini version, almost, of the Jaclyn Hill palette. Not everything is a perfect dupe. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually swatch all 12 of these on 1/2 of my arm, okay? And then I will put the corresponding color from the Jaclyn Hill palette next to it. Then we will do the same with the Colourpop palette, and just so you can see kind of where you can get very similar, like a full look that's pretty close, okay? So that's what we're gonna start with. I have my towel, I got my makeup wipes to wipe off my arm, and we're just gonna get going. Quality-wise, I've never tried Sleek before, okay? So it's gonna be kind of up in the air with how good they do, all right? It is a drugstore brand. It's definitely on the less expensive side of things, okay? So the side closest to me will be the Sleek side. There are no names, just colors, just numbers, okay? So this is number 1, 2, 3, okay? So a purple, a yellow, and an orange. Stella, you are on dangerous territory there, sweetheart. Get down, get down. Thank you. They really want to be fed, despite the fact that it is a full hour too early. An hour, anyway. They're cats. This is every day. It's like this. So actually, swatching these are not that bad. I mean, they're pretty reasonably pigmented. I mean, I'm not mad at it at all. So, just some of them are a bit stainy on the fingers. Don't mean to waggle my hands at the camera, guys. Okay. This one here, which is number 7 in the palette, is a bit on the flaky side, but that's not bad. Okay, so that's it so far. All right, I'm covered already in colors. And then let's do the last 3. Okay. So, like I said, there are no names, only numbers, so we're going in order from number 1 down to number 12. So I've taken up quite a lot on my arm here, so if things are falling everywhere, it's not the powder's fault. Okay, so what do we have here? We have purple, yellow, orange, this one, let me go into that one more time. This should be the really strong gold color here. I think from what I've noticed about this palette is that the shimmers are not that intense. I was doing quite a lot of swatching the other night to get this whole color story figured out. So they do need a bit of building. The mattes seem to be better actually in this palette, which I think is a bit unusual for less expensive makeup products to have the mattes be better than the shimmers. I think usually it's the other way around. Hey, buddy. Hi. Hi. Okay. So now I got the Jaclyn Hill palette out. All right, let's go through them one by one. So for number 1, which is this kind of darker purple shade from the Sleek palette, the closest one, obviously in the Jaclyn Hill one, is going to be Not My Journey, which is a deep purple. So what you're going to notice right away is that the pigmentation is very, very different, okay? So the Morphe formula is going to be a little bit stronger pigmentation-wise. From what I remember, okay, that is important to note. The Sleek palette is an eyeshadow. It's a mineral-based eyeshadow palette, whereas the Morphe Jaclyn Hill is a artistry palette, so it's a pressed pigment palette, okay? So you are going to get some differences in the vibrancy because of that. Next one for the number 2 color here, which is a yellow. There's purple everywhere now. Obviously, there is a yellow called No Joke, okay? So pretty similar. I mean, actually on camera they look really, really quite similar there. Okay. Next up for number 3, which is this kind of burnt orange color. Which one did I think? Okay, this one I had a bit of a hard time because this orange in the Jaclyn Hill palette, Feeling Myself, is not exactly the same. It's obviously much more orange, much more brilliant orange. So it's not a perfect dupe, but they are similar enough. And on camera, I think they do look pretty similar. Stella, I see your tail there. You guys gonna fight? Fight to the death? Fight to the death. Okay, fight. So for number 3, which is this kind of frosty, champagne-y kind of color, that's number 3. That's number 4. The best color is Ride or Diamonds. Okay, which is this guy here. So actually the Morphe one is less pigmented. It's this one here. Okay, and this is the Sleek one. But again, similar champagne-y kind of topper color, nothing really that special. Then we have this gold, okay, number 5 in the Sleek palette. So I think the closest one is Talia, which is a very gold kind of foiled shadow. And to be honest, they aren't really that similar, but again, pretty close color story wise, okay? What's the next one? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Number 6. I'm just gonna open this so I can have that there. Okay. Put the numbers on it. Okay, number 6 is this one, which is again kind of a brownie orange color. So the best one was Love Handles. Where's Love Handles? Let's see if this one actually is gonna match now. Somehow it doesn't look like it would. I think it was the best one though. You can see that tonally these two are quite different. This one is much more orange there. Next one down is going to be number 7, which is this red foil kind of color. The best dupe for that one was, or best, the closest one out of the Jaclyn Hill palette was Paolo. Okay. And this one is obviously more pinky red, but again, if you can see from side to side that we're getting still a very similar kind of color story effect there. All right, number 8 is this kind of pinky red. And I think what's the best one? Next was the best one. Where's Next? There we are. It's a big palette, guys. Okay. Again, is another one of these pressed pigments. All right, so this one, the Morphe one, is more intense than the Sleek one, which is here. Okay. The next one is, what's it, number 9, which is a pale kind of pinky color. And what did I pick for that? So I picked Stay True. That's a bit of a surprise. All right, let's try that. So I picked Stay True. Let's see, can you guys see there? Yeah, okay. So Stay True is obviously much darker, but the kind of tone of it, the color, sorry, I gotta wipe my hands. They're getting, look at this. It's because the pigments, they're pigments, so what can we do, right? So tonally, I mean, not tonally, like intensity-wise, this one is much, much, much lighter. Let's see if I can build it up a little bit more. But remember, eyeshadow versus a pigment, okay? It might be there's a better one in the palette. Let me just try Therapy Sesh next to it. Oh, yeah. No, that's not. That's Therapy Sesh there. But there's some similar kind of pale or kind of more pinky reddish tones. All right, we got 3 more. So we have this kind of pale brown orangey tone. We have a red and then we have a dark brown. So for this one, which is, gotta put a little thing over it. Number 10 is the best dupe, best one for that one is Perfectionist. So Perfectionist, Comfort Zone, and Love Handles look almost the same. They're actually very, very similar colors. So that one is Perfectionist there. And this one, by the way, was Love Handles here. So those ones are pretty close. Betty! Next one is for number 11, which is this red color here. It's going to be Heart On. Okay, we can tell that the reds are much more pigmented in the Jaclyn Hill palette. And that is, again, because they are pressed pigments and not necessarily eyeshadows. Okay, and number 12, which is just a dark brown. So there is not a dark brown in the Jaclyn Hill palette at all. The closest thing is the Temptress, which is the black. Okay, so I'm putting it here just so we can have a comparison of these two color stories. Let me put a little bit more of that dark brown on, just so that it looks more dark. Give them a fair shot. Okay, so there we go. So Sleek palette closest to my face, Jaclyn Hill palette here, further away. All right, so I would say that the Sleek palette is lacking that really vibrant intensity of being a pressed pigment, but they aren't, so you're not going to get that with them. But you can get a very similar, in my opinion, color story to what you can get in the Jaclyn Hill palette with this little mini Sleek palette, and it is only £10, so good value. You're not going to get the really intense, like, boom in your face colors with it, but it's very nice. Okay, so that's the first one, Sleek versus Jaclyn Hill. Next, I'm going to clean this arm because it seems to work the best to use the left arm to swatch on, and I'm going to move into the Colourpop versus Jaclyn Hill. And there we have more. We have 18 shades that are similar between the two palettes. So we'll be back in a couple, well, right away for you, a couple minutes for me. All right, guys, we're back. So let's go ahead and start re-swatching. My hands are quite stained now, and my arm is stained in a few places from the Jaclyn Hill shadows, but they are pigments, so I'm not that surprised by it. The sleek ones did come off quite easily, so that was, well, no, I mean, I had to go into them a little bit, so it's okay. All right. Not all of these are going to be perfect dupes, okay, but they're similar. Hopefully what we're going to see is that we are, again, still getting a similar color story from the two palettes, okay? Now, between the Colourpop one and the Jaclyn Hill one, there isn't much of a price point difference. It's kind of $34, $39. I'd have to check the US pricing for the Morphe palette, but I think they're pretty similar that way. But you are getting 5 more shades with the Jaclyn Hill palette. So really it's kind of each individual shadow pricing is probably pretty similar. So price-wise, they're going to be identical. It's going to be more about which formula do you prefer, and then which brand do you like better, I guess. So it's up to you. Some people don't want to buy from Morphe because they are made in China. Some people might not want to buy from Colourpop because they release something every day. You know, there's other reasons why you might not want to buy from a particular brand. So, all right, we will start. I started kind of randomly, so we're just going to continue with that. It doesn't really matter, does it? So, all right, so what I'll do is on the side closest to me, this time it'll be all the Jaclyn Hill shadows, and on this side over here will be the Colourpop ones, okay? So the first one I'm going to go with is Grateful in the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's kind of this rusty orange color, okay? So that's that. And then the color that I thought was the most similar from the Colourpop palette is You Got It. Okay, which again looks pretty similar on the finger. And then between the two, they are quite similar. I would say that the Jaclyn Hill one is slightly more orange. Okay. Oh my god, this towel is looking rough. Okay, next one is Perfectionist from the Jaclyn Hill. So it's kind of like a pale, like a medium brown here. Okay, and then out of the Colourpop one, I thought All About It was the closest one. Okay. All right, so far, so good. All right, next one was No Joke, which is the bright yellow. Okay, so there are dupes in kind of both the sleek and the Colourpop one for this. So there is the bright yellow. And then in the Colourpop palette is called Sunbelt. Okay. So the Colourpop one is slightly deeper, but again, so far we're pretty similar. Okay. The next one is Ride or Diamonds, which was that kind of champagne-y topper kind of color. Go back in there. Not getting a huge amount up on my fingers. Okay. And then the similar color in the Colourpop one was Happy Go Lucky. Where are you, my friend? You are over there. Okay, and these ones are a bit different. And actually, the Colourpop one is not that great. Let's build it a little bit. Okay, so they're a similar kind of shade, but the sorry, I realized the light is quite bright down there. The Jaclyn Hill one is darker, a little bit deeper, and a little bit more intensely foiled. Okay, what's next? Let me wipe my hand a little bit. Okay, so Talia, which is that gold, that kind of really metallic foiled gold. There isn't like a perfect dupe or a perfect ideal shade in the Colourpop palette, so there is Talia again. It's very reflective, very gold, very gold. There are two colors in the Colourpop one that are similar. So we have Heart to Heart. Okay, it's a little bit more of a red gold. You can see that there. But then we also have Gold Star, but I'm pretty sure this is a glitter. So I'll just put it here off to the side. Well, I used a lot there. Okay. So I think Heart to Heart would be the better, more similar kind of formula-wise. Is that a glitter? Yeah, it's definitely a glitter. Oh, sorry, it feels really chunky on the skin. It doesn't feel very nice. Okay, what's next? Okay, so Paolo, again, from the Jaclyn Hill. Okay, which is a really pretty kind of shimmery maroon. And then in the Colourpop palette, the closest one was Sweet Life. Okay, pretty similar. I mean, it's almost hard to really tell them apart, to be honest with you. They are very, very samey. Next up, we have, funny, which is this kind of maroon color. Very nice. So in this one, the best one was Concierge, which really doesn't, it's not as deep. It's not going to give you the same kind of intensity as Next will. But it's the closest one I could find in the palette. Okay, so that is Concierge, and that one is Next. Then we have Stay Tune. Where is Stay True, sorry. Okay, which is this like hot magenta purpley color. Okay, Jaclyn Hill. And then in the Colourpop, the closest one was maybe Margarita. Margarita is a sequin formula in here. It's I fed you. I gave you food. You're a liar. Do you want to have pink eyeshadow on? No, don't worry. But so this one is, I think, a bit more on the light pinky side. There is another one called Dear Diary, which is a, God, sorry, it's everywhere right now. I don't even know where to put my hands down. Maybe I shouldn't have worn a black shirt for this. Kind of messy. So there's Dear Diary, which is a shimmer shade, which I'll just stick over here. But it's definitely more of like a red, like a pink here. Okay, but again, it's a shimmer, not a matte, so it's not exactly the same. So the next one is Crazy from the Jaclyn Hill. Where are you? Where is Crazy? It's the bottom. Okay, and this is kind of this very deep maroony color. I think there's, if I was thinking of another Colourpop palette, I think Miss Brightside from the Whatever palette would be really similar to this one. Yeah, it would be. Okay. And then the next one, the one from the Colourpop, the closest one for Crazy is Best Life, which is, again, a sequin formula rather than just a straight up matte. So this one's definitely deeper. But, I mean, if we just looked at it this way, we're looking very similar between both palettes right now, guys. So, all right, how many are we in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, it's about halfway. I should probably switch the other arm because look at this. I mean, really. So much pink. All right, I don't want to get the other arm dirty though. We're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. I don't care. All right, we'll just start going up the hand this way a little bit first before we go back down the arm. All right, what's next? Okay, A Moment. Where is A Moment? A Moment is this purpley color. Really pretty shimmery purple. Yes, we're going over the wrist. Hi guys. So it's been like an hour since I was last here. Anyway, probably only been a few seconds for you. So yeah, where were we? I think we were doing, what was this one? What was this color? A Moment. Okay, which is this guy here. Sorry, it is now fully dark here. So all I have is my light here, so it's very kind of unidirectional. So just try and kind of go this way a little bit so it's not quite so like blinding from one side. You can see, look, my highlight is going. No, I'm just kidding, it's not highlight, it's light. Okay, so we have A Moment from the Jaclyn Hill palette, but look, I did wash almost all of it off my hands. Now we're going right back in. So the closest one I have for A Moment is Paradiso, which I don't think is really, is this really going to be the closest one? Really? What was I thinking? That doesn't, oh, well, I think, which one do we have done? This one's too pink. I guess that's going to be the closest one, is going to be this one, Cater to You. No, Paradiso, sorry. So this one here is A Moment, and then this one is Paradiso. I don't think they're really that similar, but it is kind of the closest match that I can find. Okay, the next one from the Jaclyn Hill is going to be Drama Queen, which is kind of a, it's not, is bronze the right word? It's kind of like a brown shimmer. We'll go up here Okay, so that is Drama Queen. And then the closest one from the Colourpop one is Downtime. Where are you, my friend? Where is Downtime? There we are. The colors, the reason I'm having trouble seeing is one, I'm not wearing my glasses, and two, on the Colourpop palette, the names are in gold, which means they're reflective, so if I'm looking at the wrong way, it's all I can see is nothing, okay? So here is Downtime. Which pretty similar. Maybe this one's a little bit lighter, but otherwise pretty close. Okay, what's next? Banji? Bougie. Out of touch am I with the kids these days. Bougie, sorry. It's another shimmer. It's kind of similar. There's not a lot of shade difference between these two, and actually this one is maybe more similar to that one. So that was Bougie, and then there was So Stoked in the Colourpop one, which is way more kind of metallic-y. So you can see that all of these are very similar kind of in tone, so I mean maybe I should have swapped them and done them a different way, but it's okay. For the color story it worked. Okay, so we have Get Ready With Me, or GRWM, I'm assuming that means Get Ready With Me. Okay, which is a kind of an antique gold shimmer from the Jaclyn Hill palette. And then the closest one in the Colourpop one is Lucky Break. Okay. Alright, so that's the Jaclyn Hill, and that's the Colourpop one. We're doing pretty good so far, guys. We're almost there. All right, next one is G Money, which is like a medium brown kind of color. I don't know. I don't really know how to like talk about some of these colors. It's kind of a poop color. Like if we're being honest, it's kind of a poop color. All right, like a light poop color. And so the closest one to that one is Vibes, which actually, I don't think this is very similar at all. No. See, this one's much more chocolatey kind of looking compared to this one. We had the You Got It, but then it was also similar for Grateful, so it's this one here. Let me just put that one there just so you can where am I? I'll put it right here. Okay. And that was, no, that one's too orange. Yeah. So I think that's the best one. So it's not perfect, but it's kind of a medium poopy kind of brown color. It's fine. Okay, next one we have Flawed and Odd. Ah, there it is. Okay, Flawed and Odd, which is kind of a red gold color. Put that right there. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen that in so many Colourpop palettes, this same kind of red gold shimmer. The closest one is Cheers to You. It's pretty similar there. And then on the hand, almost the same. This one is slightly more Cheetos. This is a little bit less Cheetos. Okay, we got two more, so we'll do them at the bottom of the arm. Okay, so we'll do, or no, I got hand room. We'll do one more on each end. Okay, no, we'll just do two more on the hand. I think I can fit them. Okay, the next one is Empowered, which is a really pretty kind of burgundy shimmer. Okay, so we got that one. And then the closest one from the Colourpop one is going to be Dear Diary. Is that right? Yes, Dear Diary. Okay, pretty similar. This one's a little bit more red and this one's a little bit more pink. Okay, and then the last one that I found, there might be some others, but I think this was kind of most of them that I was able to find, was, actually maybe there's one more. Let me check something. What was this one? Dance Party, which is this really fluorescent hot pink kind of color. Whoa, that's a lot of pink. And then we had Cater to You. Now, Cater to You is a shimmer. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there. So it's not going to be precisely a dupe, okay? But they're pretty close there. The other one that could have been it was Margarita, which we already used for something else, which was that one. Okay, so either of these two could be a good dupe for Dance Party. The only other thing I was thinking is that we're kind of bereft in the dark purpley range, because the only purple in the what is this thing called? It's All Good palette is Paradiso, which is, let me just grab it again, okay, which is this one, okay? So if I just stick it there, okay, it's more of a purpley maroon color, okay? And so we have the one that I thought it was most similar to, sorry, let me just double check, which was A Moment, which is this kind of pinkier purple here, okay? Sorry, I realized there's reflection from the ring light there, okay? But the other one it could have been for is Good Place. So there are some of those darker tones in there, but I think what the It's All Good is missing that the Jaclyn Hill one has is some of those darker purpley kind of colors, and there isn't a really super dark tone in the It's All Good palette. Okay, so full hand going. Okay, so let me just come back all this way so you can see the epicness that is this hand. Hopefully what you can tell is that there are a lot of similarities between these two palettes, which kind of on my side, I'm quite pleased about because it means I was right, and I like being right. But there are still plenty of differences. There are some colors in the Jaclyn Hill palette that aren't represented in the Colourpop one, and vice versa. I think the one that I like the best in the Jaclyn Hill is this Positivity, okay, which is kind of this corally kind of color. Can we focus? Let me see if I can grab that here. It's kind of this electric coral. But then I realized I think I have the same color in that new Sailor Moon palette that I got, new Sailor Moon Colourpop one. And there's some electric oranges that obviously aren't in the Colourpop palette either. So they both have their pros and cons, like with quality-wise and things like that. There's some that are great and some that aren't so great. But color story, sure, you got it, okay? Doesn't matter which one you pick, you're gonna get some pretty similar looks. I think the only look that you might not be able to get perfectly is actually the one that I'm wearing right now, because you don't have This Is Positivity and Stay True, which there aren't any similar colors in the Colourpop palette for. Otherwise, you're fine. I think that's gonna do it. I hope you found this video useful. What I was trying to get across is that there are kind of alternative palettes to the Jaclyn Hill one should you be interested in that color story, and at different price points. So the Colourpop one isn't that different of a price point, but the Sleek one is, and I think this is actually a very nice little palette, okay? I actually have an extra one of these for a future giveaway. Not the one that ends on Monday, but another one, so if you're interested in this, watch this space. That's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can go ahead if you want. No pressure, okay? But there's a little like button down below. I'd love it. I'd love it if you liked it. There's also a subscribe button down over there. There's a cat somewhere. Is it here? Is it here? I don't know. There's a little tiny cat in the corner, so you can subscribe there. And also, if you're interested in any of these palettes, you want to see more, you want to see me do some looks with them or something, leave me a comment down below, and we can always have some more fun with these palettes. Yeah. All right, I hope you guys have a really lovely day wherever you are, and take care of yourselves, wash your hands, and take care of each other as well. All right, have a really great day, guys. Bye-bye.